Oh my gosh, and I feel like I've just been hit with a stone cold stunner. How did Man United lose that game? What's up, people? Chelsea 4, Manchester United 3. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to have a conversation about this stupid game of football that we just saw. Man, I am pissed off. Goals from Gallagher, hat-trick from Palmer. And listen, we're gonna have to talk about Palmer because this kid is good. This kid is good, and we need to talk about how good this kid is. Hat-trick from Palmer, goal from Bruno, 2 goals from Garnacho, even though neither of them, in my opinion, played that well. Neither team, and it's a funny game because neither team, in my opinion, played really well. I heard a commentator saying it was a great game. I mean, I guess so. Goals were scored. It was entertaining, but the two teams lacked so much quality. It was insane. It was insane watching. Palmer was good. I liked Palmer's performance. For me, on the United side, Antony was probably my guy. I think Antony played. He had a really good game today. Essentially, what did we see, guys? Tell me what did you see? Because I saw a basketball game. I saw a basketball game. Two teams that lacked quality in certain areas. Definitely one team, Chelsea, lacked quality at the back. The mistakes that they made in defense, the concentration, the lack of concentration at times from the Chelsea defense, and at times from Manchester United defense. It was a good demonstration of the Premier League, but at the same time a bad one. You know, the midfield was sloppy today from both teams at times. United, as usual, just lacked the cohesion needed, the cohesion I want to see from a front three. Haaland, Garnacho, Antony, as usual, isn't there. The counter-attacking transition football that essentially both teams were playing today, it was just, for me, it wasn't a good watch in terms of the quality, but I guess it was an entertaining game to watch because it had a lot of action. So there's a lot of things we're going to talk about today. We're going to go through the game. We're going to go through my perception. We're going to talk about what happened, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, and essentially strip it clean, strip it all the way back. You know how we do it on this channel. If you're not, you say what we see, not how we feel. We try not to run no agendas. You know, we just talk about the game and we try to be. It's hard, but we try to be as objective as possible. So yeah, let's strip it. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about what went down. As usual, I'm just going to gloss over the starting lineup because usually I talk in depth about the starting lineup and who I'd pick and who I wouldn't pick. And you know what? This manager is playing this type of football, and I say this every video. He's playing a style of football that I do not like to see. So I'm always going to be negative with regards to the starting lineup. I'm always going to be, and the style of football that he wants to play, this fast transition football, the footballers that he's brought into the club. Yeah, I mean, I could literally spend hours and hours talking to you in depth about what I think this manager is doing wrong, what I don't like about his style of play that he's trying to implement, how he sees football, and all of these things. But because this video is just about today's game, I'm just going to say I'm expecting the lineup that he started with. I heard Rashford had a knock or something, or he'd been playing with a knock. Antony has been playing well. In fact, I would say this: Antony has been United's best attacker the last month at least. He has. So I'm glad he started. And you know, Bruno's going to start every game. He's the captain. So I'm not going to dwell on the starting lineup. That's the starting lineup. In terms of the game now, guys, let's talk about the game. How do you think this game was going to go? Because I know some people were thinking this game was going to end in a 3-3 because both teams are just not that good. And I think a lot of you were probably right in saying so, because I also thought this game was going to be a mad game. It was going to be a bit silly. It was going to be a sloppy. And boy, were we not surprised. Were we not surprised? Because in the first few minutes, Gallagher scored. And I know a lot of people were moaning Dallo. and Dallo was out of position. But so many things were just wrong with that whole movement there. I mean, garnacho, and I know the ball was far from him, but he lost the ball in the first place, and he could have, at least jogged back or tried to jog back. Dallo lost the ball. Someone could have gone across, come over. There's so many things wrong with that goal. And yes, also Onana, he went underneath his arms. And Onana is very unorthodox in a lot of ways, without going into too much detail. And I would just say that, it's not just one person's fault that goal went in, but the way that goal went in just showed how easy it is to play Man United, how easy it is at times to just cut through us, because you're telling me within the first few minutes you want to give them that amount of space on that side. So the cut back from Gusto, Gallagher, nice. I mean, the shot wasn't that great, but it was hard, low. He did what he was supposed to do, and Onana, unfortunately, couldn't save the shot. And the first 10 minutes of the game, I mean, how would you guys analyze the first 10 minutes of the game? Because essentially, the first 10 minutes, nobody got a foot in the game. Even though Chelsea scored first within the first 3 minutes, I didn't really see 5-6 passes being strung together. And if I did, it was just the defense passing it between each other. The game never really settled until around, 15 minutes, where United, Maguire had the ball and gave it to Varane, and Varane clipped it over the top to Kobe Mainu. And then we had, a few passes, not too many, passages of play, but we saw the game start to settle down around the 15-minute mark, where both teams started having more than just 2 or 3 touches of the ball. And that's good for me. That's good for me, because the first 10 minutes, man, of that game, I was like, this is going to be one of those messy games where the ball's just hoofed in the air and the ball's just bobbling on people's shins, and no one can string 2 passes, and every pass is going out for a throw in. And no. I was thinking, please. Yes, I know both teams are going to have passages of play where we're going to see some things like that. But no, I didn't want to see that for the whole 90 minutes. I was like, no. So I'm glad that the game settled a little bit. Like I said, Onana, sometimes I saw that he was clipping it over the defense into the midfield, to, of course, to play through the lines. You don't always need to play through the lines. You can play over the lines. And a lot of the times you saw Onana doing that. Then we saw the defense doing it to the midfield, just clipping the ball over the midfield and bypassing the midfield and going straight or trying to go straight to Højlund. So we had some passages of play after the goal, trying to get back, but essentially no cohesion really in our attack. And the goals that we did score, come to think about it, weren't because we were cohesive. It was either us counter-attacking, winning the ball, and just 2-3 passes, goal. It wasn't like after a long passage of play. Neither team really scored goals after long passages of passing, the way that Arsenal or Man City would play. And that's because both teams play largely on the transition, or at least prefer to play largely on the transition. But like I said, the funny thing is about Garnacho, and even the funny thing about Garnacho being given a man in the match, and the fact he did score 2 goals today, and we're going to, of course, talk about the goals, but first 15 minutes of the game, the kid was not good. He was not having a good game. And even though he scored 2 goals, he lost the ball a lot of times. Garnacho is one of those weird ones where when you watch him play football, apart from the fact that he runs at players and he tries that, he doesn't, I don't think he has the necessary quality to make it at Manchester United Football Club. I've got nothing against the kid, but I just don't think he's good enough. Like, we had people like Adnan Januzaj that were better than him, and they didn't make it. Welbeck was better than him, and he didn't make it. Yeah, the more and more I watch Garnacho, the more I'm thinking, I hope I'm wrong. But I just don't see it. But that's cool. Doesn't matter. And the thing is, after the second goal, now we're going to talk about the second goal. After the second goal, I think we can all admit that I thought the game was done. I'm pretty sure you guys thought the game was done. And the second goal was so silly to concede. And personally, I don't really think it was a penalty. I don't really. It was, the touch was so light, and even the penalty that we gave at the end, because we essentially gave away two penalties. Even that penalty was soft, but it is what it is. There was a slight touch from Antony. I think it was, like I said, a very soft penalty, but Palmer, nice shot, good penalty he took, and yeah, Palmer, this kid. Let's talk about this kid because I'm going to talk about this kid a bit more. But you know what I like about Palmer? He's got a tall lankiness about him, yeah, but he's got a good balance about his body movement, and you don't always get that. You don't always get that. Sometimes a tall guy can be too bulky and too stiff, but he's tall and he's not stiff. He's got good balance. The way he shifts his body, I think the kid's got something. I really do. But we didn't have to wait long, guys. We didn't have to wait long. Garnacho, like I said, scored. And this is what I'm saying. The first goal we scored. And how did we score it? We scored it not because we had nice possession or good patterns of play and we broke through the lines. We scored it because Caicedo, the £105 million midfielder, wanted to play without looking. I couldn't believe that pass back. And if that pass back was done by Casemiro, who the press and the media are hating at the moment for whatever reason, it would have been different. But if you're a Chelsea fan, I don't know what to think when you see something like that. Why? I just don't understand. It's, yes, individual error, and individual errors can occur, but that is so bad. I just don't understand why he just didn't give it to the goalkeeper. Nonetheless, we take the goal. We took the goal. Garnacho, side foot, bottom corner. Like I said, stupid back pass from Caicedo. And Bruno, literally 4 minutes after, scored. And that's what I'm thinking, this game, and after Bruno scored, I thought this game is going to be stupid. This game's going to be dumb. It's going to be dumb. How can you not be dumb? Are you telling me 38 minutes and it's 2-2 at Stamford Bridge? What is going on? The thing is, the goal was a good goal. The goal was a good goal, and it's Dalot on his right foot. And I've always said I love Dalot's right foot. Some of the goals he's already scored with his right foot, beautiful. And that ball, he saw it. That ball, and Bruno, I mean, I'm surprised. I thought Bruno usually with his head is not that good. It's not that good. I don't really see him do much with his head. And he sometimes gets in good positions and he misses quite often with his head. So, but that goal today was a good goal. He didn't really have a good game, but we say this often with Bruno. When's the last time you guys can say that you watch a 90 minutes football, yeah, game of football, Manchester United, and you went, Bruno's had a really good game today? Probably been a year. It doesn't really happen, but it's okay. He's allowed to play mediocre and not really have good games, and it's fine. He doesn't get attacked for it or nothing. I'm always fascinated by who is allowed to play rubbish and get away with it, and who is not allowed to play rubbish and get away with it. Because Sancho is not allowed to have a bad game at all, but there are people who on a regular basis, have bad games. It is what it is, but it's just interesting. The psychology of football always fascinates me, man. It's always fascinating. But great pass from Dalot. Like I said, Bruno scored, and the second half ended 2-2, and that's how I saw it. I saw the second half like this. The first half. Excuse me. I saw the first half like this. Two teams that don't have shape, don't have any cohesion, can't keep the ball, and it feels like some sort of Royal Rumble of football. Some sort of, the thing is, I was going to say basketball game, but the second half was a basketball game. Like, especially the start of the second half. We'll talk about it, but the quality was not really there, despite the fact that 2 goals were scored by either side. The quality wasn't there, and I can see why both sets of fans are frustrated. Neither team, like I said, can keep the ball. Neither team can keep the ball. And United scored 2 goals in the first half, really without playing well. And that's been the story. That's been the story of United's season so far. Not playing well and still, not having the quality. When I say the quality, I mean, we have some of the teams we've lost against, we've had much better players than, but we've lost. But we'll continue. We'll just quickly finish this video. And all I can say, let's talk about this. The second half is when a lot of went down. The start to the second half was mad. It was a madness because I'm thinking, these guys either got the same memo, they got told the same thing, and they came out on the same vibe. Because it was a quick start for United. United started quickly. Then Chelsea got into it. Then counter-attack. Then it was like, okay, cool. This is what I'm saying. I think the second half started. The first, 15 minutes, really, was a basketball team. It was a basketball team. I'm thinking, are you managers really proud of this? Because from a neutral, it's entertaining because there's a lot of action. But if you want to see quality football, this ain't quality. This is, I don't know, I'm disappointed in both teams. And I'm disappointed really in the level of concentration from the defenders on both teams. Because the sloppiness, like I said, especially in the first half for the goals and later on, like the penalty and whatnot, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Rashford came on for Højlund in the second half as well. Evans, I think, came off again after coming on for Varane in the first place. Kambwala, I don't know much about Kambwala. I've seen him a few times. I'm going to continue watching him. If he gets more game time, we'll assess to see what kind of footballer he is. If you guys know anything about Kambwala, flipping it, I can't even say the man's name. Let me know what type of defender is he? Is he a ball playing defender? How does he? I haven't seen enough of the kid. It doesn't look like he is, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do my research myself. But give me some information. But yeah, the second half was just. I mean, it did settle for 10, 15 minutes before it went back to basketball again. And Antony. Okay, let's mention Antony now. I know Antony has been getting a lot of stick, especially after his first season. And no, I'll say this many times, he's not worth the money that United paid for him. Many players are not worth the money. I don't think Enzo or Caicedo are worth 105 million. But that's not Antony's fault. Antony is the player he is, and that's it. So I don't always hold players up to their price tag because their price tag is not their fault. Antony is Anthony's a 50 million pound player. That's what he is. Not 100 or 90 million or however much we paid for him. So yeah, but he has been, and I've said this before, our best attacker when he is playing. He is. I know a lot of people love Garnacho, but on this channel we talk about football. And we don't get gassed up about goals and assists. Yeah, it's not just about goals and assists. And when we look with our eyes, we see the amount of time Garnacho loses the ball. And we don't do the whole, he tries, at least he goes and tries to, beat his man and all these things. No, because football's not just about that. Some people have a very rigid way of seeing football. When at least he tries to, you can also know that you can't beat a man. You can also have the IQ to know not to do that because you're just going to lose the ball and therefore keep the ball and pass back. There's a lot of Garnacho's game that needs to be fine. There's a lot of Antony's game that needs to be fine. I'm not a biggest Antony fan either. I don't really think the front three are that great. I'm not trying to be an Antony fan. I don't even want to be no team, no nothing. But I just think that one player gets too much praise. And I think it's probably because he's young. And whenever someone comes in after someone else that you don't like, whenever like a Bruno comes in after Pogba, a garnacho's coming after Sancho, they always get like that biased rub because he's coming in after someone that is hated. So they get I call it the false love because it's really the hatred of the player before that's giving you so much love. So they get some of that. I don't know what you'll call that psychologically, but it must be called something. That concept, that effect. But yeah, it's Antony. Yeah, Antony had a really good game today. Like the penalty, of course, mistake. At least he was there, trying to win the ball. And that's one thing about Antony. You can't say he hides. He always tries to comfort the ball. He always does. He's not somebody who hides. So yeah, I think he had a good game. The ball to Garnacho. My gosh, why? Like, yeah, yeah. Let's just say, yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't see that every day, guys. And this is what I'm saying. Like, yeah, Antony had a good game today. It's one of his better games today. Let's just leave it. Because I don't even know what to say. The ball was just beautiful. It was a beautiful pass. And to be fair, Garnacho took it well. What was the goalkeeper doing? I don't know if that was Onana in no man's land like that. I bet the commentators would have had something to say. I don't know what was the goalkeeper doing, guys. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, Garnacho came off about 20 minutes later. And Mount came on, and really and truly 4-3, or should I say 3-2. The game was done. United, we had finished. I'm all there eating my dinner, chilling out, relaxing myself. Even though Chelsea played a lot of the second half in Man United's half. So I'm not trying to say that I wasn't, a bit nervous at times, but after we scored, I was like, and in the last 10 minutes, I was like, you know what? We're good. We're good out here. Nothing's going to happen. What the heck can happen now? Like, sorry, guys. But I was wrong. I was wrong. Boy, was I wrong. So, the penalty, I mean, at full speed or at normal speed, the penalty looked like a penalty. But when they did that replay thing, yeah, I'm like, hold on a second, did he touch him? When they slowed it down, I'm thinking, no, it's not a penalty. But to be fair, I mean, at full speed, yeah, you can still knock someone off. I don't know, man. I'm not fully convinced he had to go down. But at the end of the day, Dalot fell over. He fell over near him. It looked like a penalty. It was given. What can you do? It probably was a penalty. It probably was a penalty. I mean, if it looked like a penalty at full speed, and then I changed my mind. It's easy to change your mind in slow motion because you're like, there's not much contact there. There's not much contact there. Like really, but I know it's not easy to always judge it. So it is what it is. Penalty, I guess. And the kid Palmer, I mean he's not a kid anymore, but Palmer stepped up, scored again. Really, really good shot, good finish from the penalty spot. You think it's done? You think okay, cool. We were 3-2, winning 3-2, and to be fair, feel is probably the right result. So you readjust your mind. You're like, okay, cool. Do you know what? We're literally a minute away with going away with the 3 points. But looking back at the game, you're like, do you know what? Chelsea deserve the draw. So it's cool. Do you know what? I can just about take that. But then a minute later, the guy scores again. And you're thinking, no. Like, how? Why? I think, like, how? Manchester United. And that is what I'm saying about these two teams. Because certain people, I guess, at 3-2 were getting ready to banter certain people. And certain people at 2-0 were getting ready to banter people. We had We went from 2-0, Chelsea are definitely winning, to 3-2, Chelsea don't look like scoring at all, to Chelsea have won. And I think the way the game went, where the teams played, the sloppiness of the defense, everything. It's just the whole embodiment of this game represented these two teams perfectly. I promise you, it represented these two teams perfectly. What some people say, what a good game of football. Others will say, what a shit show. I don't know, maybe somewhere in between, guys. Maybe it's somewhere in between. I don't know. There you have it. I'm done. I'm done. Energy's gone. Palmer's the guy. Antony had a good game. Both teams are crap. I don't want to hear Chelsea fans really be excited. Okay, no. Okay. Let's not tell people not to be excited. Yeah, let's not do that. All I'm saying is this. Let's not forget Chelsea are rubbish. Both teams are rubbish. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. What do you guys think of the game? What did you think of United's performance, the goals, Palmer, Antony? My thoughts on Garnacho. I think I keep talking about Garnacho because I see him as the next thing that they're going to push as a star. Because United have to have stars, right? And the problem is, even when our footballers are not good enough, they have to choose a star from the bunch. So if you've got like 11 shit footballers, you have to choose like the guy that's going to sell t-shirts. You've got to push the next thing, and that looks like it's going to be Garnacho. And the problem I just have with that is I just don't think the guy is good enough. Like Amad Diallo is better, and he doesn't play. That's my thing. My thing is all about justice. I just think that let's be fair and not try to be. I know we have favourites, but let's be fair and just look at the thing objectively. Objectively, yes, we all look at football differently, I guess. And if someone's scoring goals, someone's always going to respond by saying, "Well, he scored today." He scored today, and because like the end to the means, because he scores or he scored him, it justifies him starting. And it's like, but what if we start with somebody better? We will score more goals. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like somebody has to score, and he did, but it doesn't mean he scored because of him. Like it's these sort of philosophical arguments, but it gets how you interpret football. I guess the best example of what I'm talking about is, maybe when we had Van Nistelrooy, and even though Van Nistelrooy was a good striker, we didn't really win much. And Van Nistelrooy scored most of our goals. He scored about 20 to 30, sometimes 35 goals a season, 40 goals a season. But when we sold Van Nistelrooy, people thought, how the heck are we going to score goals? But Ronaldo, Rooney, and Tevez kind of shared the goals between each other. So the person that was the best player, the best forward, was sold, but his goals were replaced by people sharing the load. So it's the person who's scoring the goals is not always the most important, especially if he stops you from playing a style of football that you need to play, or a style of football that's more conducive to scoring even more goals, like possession football. If you want to play possession football, which will probably result in you scoring more goals, then you have to play with players that play possession football. And this is not just Garnacho, this is everybody. And, maybe he can. Maybe he can play that way and not just be direct. But I think the manager wants footballers that are very, very just direct. And I've said many times, while there's a lot of fans who love that sort of Liverpool heavy metal style of football, I do prefer the possession-based football. I do prefer the way Arsenal and Man City play. I think it's more conducive. I think it's more sustainable. You're not going to get as much. I don't know. I think it's more sustainable in the long term, that style of football. You're not going to get maybe burn out as much as well. But that's just my opinion. And I think I'm probably going a bit off topic. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As usual, guys, smash like, turn on notifications, subscribe, share this video with your mates, with your friends. Please, guys, spread the word, spread the love. Listen, 4-3, Chelsea, whatever, man. This is a crazy game. It is what it is. Have a good day. Have a good week as usual, guys. And yeah, peace out.